I get it. The idea of securing sponsorships can feel overwhelming. You're only one person, and this isn't your full time gig. Having to ask someone to give you money, a product, or service in trade for promotion might run a close race to that same feeling of throwing your leg over a fresh colt. Visions of an unpredictable ride and possibly getting yard darted feel very real and oh so uncomfortable. Nowadays, I get giddy at the opportunity to talk shop about the art of selling and sponsorship opportunities. However, this hasn't always been the case. I've wished many times over the years that I had a roadmap for navigating sponsorships and the challenges that can arise when communication isn't clear for all parties involved. That's one of the main reasons why I felt compelled to create the Kickstart Guide to Securing and Retaining Sponsorships. In this guide, you're going to learn my exact framework and strategies for securing and retaining sponsorships. Think of this guide as a roadmap that will help you get to your next sponsorship destination. Much like our personal journeys in life, each individual sponsorship journey will vary, and the road trip will look different based on where we're trying to go. There's a lot of information out there today, and it can be overwhelming to know which direction to take. While Google Maps and Surrey might lead you astray, this sponsorship roadmap won't. The sales strategies I teach throughout this guide are like Rand McNally, proven, tried, and true. You can find the Kickstart Guide to Securing and Retaining Sponsorships at dakotadonjohnson.com.
Hey y'all, and welcome. You're listening to the Cowgirl Confessions podcast. I'm your host, Dakota Dawn Johnson, small town cowgirl with southern roots, blazing a trail as a Midwest ranch wife, mama, and businesswoman. The mission of Cowgirl Confessions is to share the wonderfully wild and western life stories of cowgirls from all walks of life. We'll talk about the highs, the lows, and everything in between when it comes to navigating careers, cowboys, kids, and cattle. Legendary cowgirl Dale Evans said it best. Cowgirl is a pioneer spirit, a special brand of American courage. The cowgirl faces life head on, lives by her own lights, and makes no excuses. Cowgirls take stands. They speak up. They defend the things they hold dear. A cowgirl might be a rancher, a barrel racer, a bull rider, or an actress, but she's just as likely to be a checker at the local Winn-Dixie, a full-time mother, a banker, an attorney, or an astronaut. If you're into wet saddle blankets, talks with God, buckets full of laughter, and the life lessons learned in the process, kick off your boots and settle in. I pray these stories encourage, empower, and give you just the leg up you need. Here's to embracing the cowgirl state of mind, no matter how wild and western life may get along the way.
Don't quit your calling. I have those 4 simple words on a message board hanging in my office. You see, earlier this year, as I prepared for the opportunity to speak at the first annual Southeast Kansas Women in Ag Seminar, I played Fill My Cup by Andrew Ripp. I played it loud, y'all. I knew I needed my cup to be overflowing in order to successfully pour into the women at the event. I also knew there was no amount of preparation that would make me feel as equipped or confident enough to deliver a message that would resonate and stick with the audience without the help of God Himself. So I prayed and worshiped and praised Him in all the preparation leading up to that morning, the day of the event. I prayed for help with my time management and about which stories to share, because per usual, I had committed to this months in advance. And then all these other things got stacked on my calendar, deadlines and just all the things. I don't have to explain it to you because it seems like when you set something up on your calendar sometimes, then Satan himself just decides to fill it with all these other distracting factors, keeping us from focusing on something that can truly make a difference, right? So anyway, I turned up my praise and worship music loud while I was applying my makeup and curled my hair. Y'all, I sat in silence and I talked to God for almost 30 minutes while I was driving to the event. I drew near to him in every way I knew how, not because I was nervous, but because I wanted to deliver on an opportunity I knew God Himself had orchestrated. This was one that I couldn't have known 90 days ago was in the works, this opportunity, but God did. You see, God was already preparing me to be the keynote speaker at this Kansas Women in Ag conference 90 days before it happened, because He gave me the courage to say yes to doing something that was new for me and allowing me to practice that prior to the event. Now, when I say something that was new for me, I've been doing public speaking since I was 10, 11 years old. That portion wasn't new for me, but what I was going to share and what I felt called to share as the keynote speaker for this event was new. It's a huge part of my testimony. It makes me emotional every time I talk about it. And I had the opportunity to get some practice in and share that at a ladies' women's retreat that our church hosts each October. And so it's just wild how God can work. He is in the details, so in the details. I had been asked to be the keynote speaker at this event that took place in January of 2024. I was asked to do that back in early fall of 2023. And then I was part of our annual women's retreat at church. And the fact that I spoke on one of the fruit of the Spirit, and I spoke on faithfulness and what God's faithfulness has looked like in my life, and what I had the opportunity to share with a small group of people in a very intimate setting in October of 2023 allowed me to get some reps in, to figure out how I was going to feel and how I could get better at sharing that story, and really just be aware of what my emotions would be when I got in front of a group of people to share that story, so that when I was preparing to speak in January of 2024 at this Women in Ag event, I wasn't doing that for the first time. So I share all of that because, like I said, it's hard for me to even comprehend at times how God does what He does. What I know to be true, though, is this: He is in the details. He is all powerful, and He cares about me. And my friend, He cares about you. When God calls you, He will equip and prepare you to effectively complete your assignment on time. I'm going to say that again. When God calls you to something or to do something, He will equip and prepare you to effectively complete your assignment on time. It may not feel like you were prepped a week early. You may not even feel prepared 5 minutes before, but I promise you, in that moment when you need to step up to the plate, to deliver the message, to rope the calf, to help your child, to be there for your spouse, whatever it is, He is going to complete your assignment on time and make you feel equipped in that moment. He will use every aspect of who you are and where you came from to bring about His will in your life. So back to the 4 words that I have on my message board in my office. Don't quit your calling. When I think about what those 4 words mean to me, it's really about saying, okay, God put this calling on my life, and even though it's hard, I can't quit. Like, I'm called to do this. So don't quit your calling, Dakota. Don't quit your calling. Put your name here, okay? As you're listening to this, say this out loud with me. Don't quit your calling. And a lot of people say, well, how do I even know this is my calling? Like, how do you figure that out? And that's what I want to share with you today. These are 3 questions you can ask yourself when discerning God's calling on your life. And, some people naturally have the gift of discernment. My husband, Tyler, that is one of his spiritual gifts. And I'm so grateful for that, because when I'm questioning something and I'm like, I just am not sure, like, I trust his gut. He has that gift of discernment. But these are 3 questions just to help you get started when discerning God's calling on your life. Number 1, what am I passionate about? Number 2, what gifts has God given me? And number 3, where do I have the greatest opportunity to love others? Okay. I'm going to encourage you to grab a pen, piece of paper, get your phone out,
and type in the notes, just kind of thought deposit right now, like word vomit, all the things that come to your mind. Like, what are you passionate about? Don't hold anything back. What gifts has God given you? And you guys, like, He's in the details. So think about those things, or think about what your friends, the 3 people that are closest to you, what they would say, or they come to you for advice on or help with. Think of that. Like, those are things that are going to point back to your spiritual gifting. And then number 3, where do I have the greatest opportunity to love others? Ephesians 4, verses 1-6 says, as a prisoner for the Lord, then I urge you to live a life worthy of the calling you have received. Be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Friend, don't quit your calling. Draw near to God and pray for His guidance. I'd love to join you in praying over the calling God has put on your life. Please reach out, send me an email, something on social media. Let me know how I can specifically pray for you. And let me know if these questions were helpful, getting you started down, a path of discerning God's calling on your life. As always, thank you for spending your time with me here. I value this relationship, this community that we have built with the podcast, and it wouldn't be possible without you. So just thank you so much. And I just pray you have a wonderful week. God bless you.
Thank you for spending your time with me on the Cowgirl Confessions podcast. I'm so glad y'all stopped by. If you could take a moment to share this episode and tag us on social media, I'd be happier than a cowgirl in a sea of buy one, get one vintage turquoise. Subscribe to make sure you don't miss an episode. New episodes will be released bi-monthly. Please leave us a review if you feel so led by going to iTunes. Your feedback will really help us breed the idea of grabbing life by the horns with a cowgirl state of mind into women across the globe. Some that may have never even had the privilege to throw their leg over a horse, but could most certainly use the cowgirl state of mind while navigating life. Thanks again, y'all. Until next time, keep pursuing your dreams with that all go and no woe mentality. Remember, you're writing a story that's worth saddling up for, sister.